Hi guys, welcome to my sports world. I have gotten some questions. I have friends who are very into NFL and football. People online are now starting to ask me questions as well, and you know, the, the same question comes back over and over and over again, especially when it comes to the 49ers. And we're going to look into that question and see what I think about it. So, like I said, welcome back to my sports world. We are now going to look into what kind of candidates is out there for the 49ers to replace Kyle Shanahan with. Because at some point, I believe that Kyle Shanahan will be replaced. If it happens mid-season, we have to wait and see, or if it happens after the season, well, we will find out. But one thing in my mind, and in many other fans' mind, is it is time for Kyle Shanahan to go. Some people say, well, let's wait till after the season, let's give him out the season. I'm really not that. Why? Why would we wait? He's toxic to the team. It's clear that his personal things and his ego is now coming in the way of the team, is impacting the team in a negative way. Um, and this can, as a team, it can disrupt a lot of the flow in the team, and it can disrupt the relationship between a good player, an elite player, and the team. We have a few players that are due for contract extensions. If I say if it has happened before, a lot of players feel they're being not heard. Maybe they're voicing their opinion, or they feel that this team could have gone way further, but due to inactive coaching or bad coaching and passive ownership that doesn't take the problem seriously, you might have players who say, you know what, my contract is due next year, next season. You know what, I'm going to go, I know my value. I'm going to go to a team where I'm being valued for who I am and what I do. Because here I clearly are not. And sometimes it's, these players you have to think about, it's not all about the money every time. It's about winning. It's about, getting something, something tangible that you can call yourself a Super Bowl champ. You get a ring, you get stats, you get the moments, and possibly a Hall of Fame down the road. The clubs are playing with players' future here, so a lot of players have a long time or long time vision on things. They're looking 20 plus years down the road, and a lot of careers in the NFL is very short. Sometimes due to injuries, sometimes due to circumstances that the players can't really decide over. So they want to win, and they want to win as many things they can, and they want to win it now. The players wants to go to the Pro Bowl. They want to be go to the playoffs in the Super Bowl and win rings, so that one day they can receive the yellow jacket. There's a lot of things at stake here, and if they feel that a coach is not beneficial to them, or a team is not beneficial to them, you know what? It's easy for a player to say, trade me. I don't want to be part of this, or I'm just going to run down my contract and become a free agent. And you know what? Bye bye. Screw you. And I feel that right now, Kyle Shanahan would be playing with a lot of players' state of mind. Let's put it like that. Um, I think getting Kyle out of here as soon as possible would be the best thing. So, with that in mind, I've been asked, what candidates can you see come in and take over? Well, if we go mid-season, you won't find your permanent replacement coach mid-season. Forget about it. You're not going to do that. So you have to go with an interim or a temporary manager. That can be done within the ranks. Not a big issue. Or you can go outside and then find someone, but the easiest thing and the quickest thing, and someone who knows the club and who knows the team and the players will probably be someone inside. And very often you see teams go into the special team coaching area and they pick up a coach from the special team section because they don't want to disrupt the other things. Is that a permanent solution? No. Very rarely is that a permanent solution. So if we do this mid-season, we have to look at who can come in, from inside and be the interim manager for the last 8-9 games. That is something the club has to look at. So we have to look at, okay, what is the life after Kyle? And don't get me wrong, if Kyle goes, John Lynch has to go as well. We have to get both of them gone. They're both equally bad. Huey, Dewey, and Louis are not a good combination in the 49ers. But sadly, we can't do anything about York. So, after the life after Kyle Shanahan, the club after, the team after, the thing is, I don't want us to go out and look for another college coach. I don't want us to go out and find, because if you Google this topic, available NFL coaches, and you get up a list of like 20 different names. And if you look, 90% of them, or 95% of them, or something like that, are coaches that, or are possible head coaches that now are either defensive coordinators or offensive coordinators in other NFL teams. I don't think that's the way to go for the 49ers. Most of the time, more often than not, it is proven that go out and hire a college coach or a position coach as your next head coach is not working. Rarely does that work. If you do that, you have to wait, and you have to wait, and you have to be very patient, and you have to have a lot of hope that somewhere down the road, let's say 3 to 5, 6 years, you will have a benefit from it. Rarely do that work out. We have seen that time and time again, not just at the 49ers, but look at other clubs. Look at Detroit Lions. Patricia, he had great success as a position coach at the New England Patriots. He took over the Detroit Lions, and it stunk. It stunk really bad. Look at Jaguars right now. They have a college coach. It stinks. And there's many teams you can go in and do this. You see the teams with the most consistent high performance, high level performance are teams with well rooted and well experienced NFL coaches. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. It is what it is. Look at Dallas Cowboys, who stuck with Garrett for a long time. And Garrett he came from a position coaching staff thing. It didn't work out. It did not work out. They got McCarthy. Yes, last year was a get to know each other, get to know the rhythm and the vibe, and get some plays going. And they lost Dak Prescott to injury. So last year was kind of like a tornado whirlwind thing going on at the Dallas Cowboys. But look this year, and McCarthy is, I'm not saying that he's the wizard or anything like that, but he's a good coach with a lot of NFL experience. He has won a Super Bowl. So he has proven himself to be a guy of knowledge, a guy of wealth of knowledge. He knows how to do this. Sometimes coaches are the victim of players not liking you after a while, and you get a players uproar and players not performing their best on purpose to get you out. Maybe that's what happened at the Packers at the end. But look where he's taking the Dallas Cowboys. I tell you, the Dallas Cowboys are going to be a playoff team this year, and they can go far. Don't be surprised if the NFC candidate for the Super Bowl or the NFC team going to the Super Bowl is either the Buccaneers or the Cowboys. Don't be surprised if that happens. I don't see the Saints. I don't see the Packers. being a team that can knock off either the Buccaneers or Dallas Cowboys right now. Right now. We're talking about what's going on right now. The only team that I think has a chance to be a rival to the Cowboys and the Buccaneers is the Rams and the Cardinals. And, anything can go. When it comes down to a playoff situation and there's a one game and you're being eliminated, anything can happen. And I think right now, if the Dallas Cowboys was meeting the Rams or meeting the Cardinals, I think that the Cowboys have a huge chance of beating both. So you see what a coach with experience can do for a team that's been struggling for years or have lost their way, lost their identity like the Cowboys did. He came in and boom. We saw the same thing at, the Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is another a good team that shows you what an experienced coach can do with a team. We see it with New England. They could have easily said, we want to go another direction. We want to get rid of this coach. But Belichick has wealth of knowledge, and he's probably one of the most decorated coaches in the NFL. He could have said, what, I lost Tom Brady, I lost a lot of players, I don't want to go for this again. This is a total rebuild. It's going to take 2 to 3 to 4 or 5 years before we're back on top. He could have easily walked away from the game and gone to a better team with more star players, with a better structure, with more potential than what the New England had. Because, let's face it, when Tom Brady left and Gronk left and a lot of the players left, the whole foundation for the New England Patriots fell away. And you saw it last year. Teams that have been doing good can really become in a wreck over one season. But he's stuck by, and the New England Patriots stuck by him, and he's now in his second year. Well, he's probably in the first year of real rebuilding. Last year, we more or less, let's evaluate what we have. We see what we have to do. We take it from here, and we know where to invest our draft picks. We know where we have to go when we want to cut players or sign free agents. So last year, we're more or less like, let's see where we are and take status of where we are. Let's do some inventory. And we do it from there, and we start building next year. So this is the first year where they're rebuilding. And I think that I am not going to say that Mac Jones is the savior or the God or the Jesus Christ of QB. But I see what is happening in New England. And I tell you, if you give Belichick 2 to 3 years with Mac Jones, I see what is going on there. And Belichick is forming, he's molding a new Tom Brady. I'm not saying that Mac Jones is going to be a Tom Brady. I'm not saying that he's going to win 7 rings. But look at his style. Look at the way he throws. Look at the way he runs. Look at the way he operates in the pocket. Belichick is molding a Tom Brady 2.0 here, guys. I give it 2 to 3 years. And Mac Jones will be a good QB that you have to count on every year to be there. And if the New England Patriots can build a team around him, oh my Lord, I say watch out. And you see what is happening in Buffalo. You see all these teams that are building the correct way. They're building with guys with experience. Coaches with experience. Either they have like 5 to 10 to 15 years at the same club as a position coordinator, and they take over, and they spend that 2 or 3 years. And like I said, if you have patience, you can do that sometimes. And you see they start to blossom, and you see slowly they're starting to do things. Like Matt LaFleur at Packers. He's one of those very few that came from a background of like, yeah, this is like a bingo thing. But he has taken a couple of years now to build himself up with experience, get to know the team. They're building the team slowly up again. And you see they're getting results. They're not maybe like what they once were, but they're getting there. They're building and they're building and they're building. So you see what is happening. You see what, take the Saints. Saints who was decimated the last few years. Cap issues, players retiring, injuries. This year they are having one of the worst QBs in the league. And they're doing kind of like okay. So you see what Peyton is doing with a team that is way less than what he has had over the last 10, 15 years. So it shows you what experience can do when you have an experienced a coach or a very experienced coaching staff. You see the results coming. Right now, the 49ers, we have a very inexperienced defensive coordinator. We don't have an offensive coordinator. We have some booth guy sitting up there, I think, doing some analytics or something, and he's kind of like communicating with Kyle. And we have Kyle Shanahan, who's not that good at being head coach. Can he be a good offensive coordinator? He's bang average. He's not. Don't even put great or good in front of Kyle Shanahan or behind him. He's average. That's what he is. His experience has showed us that he has had one winning season in the last 5 years. One. The other ones are losing seasons. Big time. Big time. But so we're looking at options. Okay, if we fire Kyle right now, it will be an interim manager from within the club, most likely. So after the season is over, let's say we have to go out and find a coach. I don't want the 49ers to go and contact any college clubs to get a coach, except for one. I'm not saying that this is the future. I'm not saying that he's the right one. But if they're going the route of going to a college club to find a coach, there's only one you can go and get, and that's Jim Harbaugh. I know he had 3 good years, and he had 1 year where he was 8-8. That was the last year, 2014. He was 8-8 that year. Still not a losing season. He did not have a losing season like that. Yeah, he lost a Super Bowl. He lost some playoff games, but he took us to the Super Bowl just like Kyle did. Won us the NFC Championship just like Kyle did. He's been developing 2 quarterbacks that kind of had a better performance than any of our quarterbacks have had under Kyle. But I'm not saying that Jim Harbaugh is the right solution here. To me, there's only one way to go. And you have to look at already established NFL coaches that are active today. So you have to go to a club. You have to go to an organization. You have to go to a team. And you have to propose a trade and a deal. And there's 2 clubs in the NFL right now that I want the 49ers to contact for a head coaching job. One is the Tennessee Titans, Mike Vrabel. Vrabel is maybe not as decorated as many of the others, but he has a track record in the NFL, and it's a pretty good one. And he's doing very good each year with limited players on the team. Titans has never been a flashy team with high-profile players until this year, where they have Julio Jones and and Henry. But Henry's been there for years. So, and Julio Jones is like, he's getting old, so he's not in his prime anymore. So you can't really rely on Julio Jones to be your savior. But they have A.J. Brown, who's doing really, really good. But, so Mike Vrabel is a guy that I can see can do wonders with the 49ers. If you give him the tools that Kyle Shanahan has right now for his disposal. Because Mike Vrabel is a guy I like. He likes to run the ball. He's a coach man. He's a coaching man who likes to run the freaking ball. And he plays tough. We need a coach that likes to play tough. We are in a tough division So, we need a coach that are up to the task, because we are up against Pete Carroll at the Seahawks, who stand on the sideline and whip their guys into like play hard. Always been play hard. If you really remember the Legion of Boom, he doesn't have that now, but he has players that are dedicated to play freaking hard on both defense and offense. And you see it at the Cardinals too. The Cardinals have a little bit more like a 50-50 thing. They have like sophisticated plays, but they also have strength and boom muscle plays, and guys are willing to roll up their sleeves and just pound. And you see the same at the Rams. You have the tough guy as QB, maybe one of the toughest QBs in the league in the last 20 years in Stafford. He plays for broken ribs, and what kind of injury can you get him, and he will still be running around out there. We are playing in one of the toughest divisions in the NFL. We need a coach, and Kyle Shanahan is not. He's not a tough guy. He's not like urging their players to be like, hey, we need to give some whooping here. He wants to be fancy. Kyle wants to be fancy. That's the problem. Fancy in a league of lions are not going to work long term. It worked for a year, and then they found out, and they shut him down. And the whole league is shutting Kyle down. And when you don't have an answer for it, look back. Jim Harbaugh was this tough guy. He wanted to play rough. If you come to the Candlestick and you played rough, he was like, oh, I'm up for this. Let's go. So we need another coach with some bone, who wants to inflict fucking pain, So that's why Mike Vrabel is a very good alternative. Mike Vrabel also has a very good football understanding, and his football IQ is very high. He has an extended playbook. He's very good. He can balance it between throws and runs. Perfect. And we see that the Tennessee Titans, they go to the not Super Bowls. Yeah, they did at one point, but they go to the playoffs more or less year after year and have for the last few years. The Titans, I'm telling you. And they are like up against teams like New England and the Chiefs and the Broncos and the Bills and the Ravens. So AFC is kind of a tough place to be. So Mike Vrabel is doing a lot of things right, and he has a good understanding of clock management and play calling. And he has an understanding that, okay, he has a very situational awareness, which Kyle has nothing of. That's the biggest lack or flaw with Kyle. Kyle has no situational understanding, or knowing what to do in different types of situations. He's like, I wrote this up a week ago. I'm going to follow this game plan. I know the game didn't go the way I wanted. We're like 5 points behind, but yeah, I'm going to do this. Instead of looking at the situation and go like, what is my best option here right now? Forget the playbook. Forget what I put down on paper a week ago. He doesn't do that. Mike Vrabel does. Mike Vrabel can do very on the whim kind of thing. Experiments. And he can say, hey, Tannehill, if you don't see what the play I'm calling, if you can see that going through on the field, please do change it up from what you see from your perspective. And sometimes you can see it. You can see it when Tannehill starts to scramble. He's like, oh shit, this is not going to work. And he starts to scramble. And very often, like 7 or 8 times out of 10, you see they pull it off. Situational awareness and situational solutions. That's what Vrabel comes with, bucket loads. Kyle doesn't have any of that. Now let's look at the other candidate. There's 2 candidates in my mind. So if they want Vrabel, and they should go for Vrabel, they should go for both and see who they can land. They have to contact the Titans and say, hey, Can we put together a package for Vrabel? What can we give you? What can we agree on? You know, they might include a trade for one of our star players, but you know what? Right now, I don't really care. If that includes trading Kittle, so be it. So be it. If you want to trade Kittle to the Titans to getting Vrabel and maybe get a player as well, you know, let's look into it. It might be possible. The other candidate is a little bit south. You go to New Orleans and you say, "Hey, Saints, let's sit down. Let's do some talking. Let's try and make a deal here. We really want Peyton. What can we do to land Peyton at our club?" And you know that the Saints are still struggling with their cap. I'm not saying that Peyton is going towards the cap, but there is solutions here. We can tell them, "Hey, we have a player in this guy. How about we take one of your most expensive players and Peyton? We give you some draft picks and this player as a compensation. That will you know, better your cap with 20 million a year." If you can make a deal, it's all about how you structure the deal. Deals can be made all the time. Everything has its price. Everything can be made into a deal. And if the team that you're contacting is saying, "That's a benefit for us," you know, then you have something going. And why do I want Sean Payton? He's proven. His track record is proven. But I feel that he kind of like, with the Saints, he's going to be struggling because he doesn't have Drew Brees. Thomas is out for God knows how long. His QB right now is one of the worst QBs when you go 5 years back in time or 3 years back in time and look. Winston is not a good QB. So next year they will have to draft a QB. And so their team is not what it used to be. Peyton doesn't have Breeze. So I think that right now, you know, you sometimes when you stay at a job too long, you kind of like get cemented in, and it doesn't give you anything, and it's just become a routine, and you really don't advance anything, or you know, stuff like that. It doesn't matter what kind of job it is. And I feel that Sean Payton for the last 2-3 years have kind of like been stagnating with the Saints because not because of himself, but because of the Saints and the situation they have been in. Because for the last 2 years, maybe even 3 years, they have had huge cap issues, and they've been like kind of like doing some maneuvers here and there to try and get the cap working, which has resulted in they lost some players. They they haven't been able to give contracts to some of the players they wanted, and some players had been cut. So there's a lot of things. But with Sean Payton, you get the same thing as you get with Vrabel. You get a guy with an attitude and a mindset that we're going to play freaking rough. If you want to come here and roll up your sleeves and try and tough guy us, we will answer that. He has that attitude. Bring it on. Bring it on. We'll play tough. He has also proven that he has very good clock management. He has also proven that his playbook is huge. He has a good balance between throwing and running. He likes to run. That's why he has drafted players like Kamara. He likes good runners. And what do the 49ers have once we get full strength again? We have a lot of good runners. You see what Peyton can do when he has a good QB. And I think that Peyton is also a good QB developer. Just like Vrabel. Vrabel took Tannehill in and took him from being kind of like a joke to becoming above average QB right now. Tannehill is playing lights out right now. So both Peyton and Vrabel has that QB connection. They know how to get the best out of their QBs. And Peyton has this years of track records in the top. He has won Super Bowl. He has the experience. And I think that right now, if the 49ers knows their visiting time and they know what they have to go for, and if they know what's the best for themselves, and if they want to become one of the best teams in the NFL and win a Super Bowl, there's two options. There's only two options. I don't see any other option coming to light. There's two. Sean Payton and Mike Vrabel. Either one of them will be a good fit for the 49ers. The coach and the team that we have right now is a good fit. I think that both Vrabel and Peyton can take this team, and because we have people with the mindset, with the attitude of playing tough, but we have a coach that doesn't. We lost that. We had it with Salah, and when Salah left, we lost that on defense. Right now, we have a little bit of a pussycat defensive coordinator. He's softer. You see it. Our defense this year is way softer. Look at the players' interactions. When our defense now interact with other players in either tackles, takedowns, man-to-man coverage, look at how our defense is tackling players. We're soft. Except for Ford and Bosa, they still have that, I'm going to take it down. But look at the 2 touchdown run-ins that we had against Colts. They run in without being touched or even contested. Our defense has become soft. It will not with Vrabel. You will not have a defense. He will not allow a defensive coordinator to play soft. I have seen Vrabel on the sideline of the Titan games where he goes up to the coordinators and go like, look, the play and go like, he's up in everyone's face and he expects you to be, smack mouth football. Kittle, it's a joke. He's like, oh, let's play rough. The wrestling. Wrestling is fake. It's scripted. Kittle is like a talker who likes to talk a lot, but doesn't really bring it. Where is it now? Oh, I'm injured. Oh, my calf. Oh, man. Get him out of here. So the thing is, we can tell Saints. Here's the thing. Here's how I see it. We'll tell Saints. We'll take Peyton and Thomas. We'll give you a 3rd round, a 5th round, and Kittle. I'm pretty sure they will say yes. Yes, thank you. They will take Kittle's contract, but Kittle's contract is a little bit north of Michael or Thomas or whatever his name is, the wide receiver. But he's injured a lot, so they have a, not a lot, but he's injured this year. But they have to get a new wide receiver because he's getting older. But we have a young wide receiver core as it is right now. So for us to get a veteran instead of let's say Mohamed Sanu, because I don't see Sanu being here another year after this year. So let's say Sanu goes, or we can tell the Saints that, hey, if you give us Peyton and Thomas, we'll give you Kittle and Sanu and a 3rd round pick. I think they're up for that. I think they would be up for that. I think they would. I know this will be becoming a long video, but I have been asked this many times lately. Because people know I follow the 49ers, and they ask me, hey, what's going on with the coaching staff? What's going on with the team? Why is the team falling apart? And I've been telling them, because our coaches don't know what they're fucking doing. So I've been asked lately, the last few days, who would you go out and get instead of Kyle? And I tell you, there's only 2 options. Mike Vrabel from the Tennessee Titans and Sean Payton from the New Orleans Saints. It's the only 2 options. There is no other options. So if this video ever comes across Jed York the next 2 months, which I doubt, get Peyton or Vrabel. Get one of them. I don't care which one. They're both good, and they're both way better than Kyle. We need to do what the Dallas Cowboys did. They took a chance on a coach that was kind of like, he suffered from this that's another video. I'm coming back with another video.